Suzanne Nadine Vega is an American songwriter and singer known for her eclectic folk-inspired music. Two of Vega's songs reached a top 10 of various international chart listings, Luka, and Tom's Diner. The latter was originally an a cappella version on Vega's album, which was then remade in 1990 as a dance track produced by the British dance production team DNA. Vega has released 8 studio albums to date, the latest of which is Tales from the Realm of the Queen of Pentacles, released in 2014. Early life: Vega was born July 11, 1959 in Santa Monica, California. Her mother, Pat Vega, is a computer systems analyst of German-Swedish heritage. Her father, Richard Peck, is of Scottish-English-Irish origin. They divorced soon after her birth. Her stepfather, Edgardo Vega Juncker copyright, also known as Ed Vega, was a writer and teacher from Puerto Rico. When Vega was 2.5, the family moved to New York City. She grew up in Spanish Harlem and the Upper West Side. At the age of 9 she began to write poetry. She wrote her first song at age 14. Later she attended New York's prestigious High School of Performing Arts. There she studied modern dance and graduated in 1977. Career: 1980s, while majoring in English literature at Barnard College, she performed in small venues in Greenwich Village, where she was a regular contributor to Jack Hardy's Monday Night Songwriters group at the Cornelia Street Cafe and had some of her first songs published on fast folk anthology albums. In 1984, she received a major label recording contract, making her one of the first fast folk artists to break out on a major label. Vega's self-titled debut album was released in 1985 and was well received by critics in the U.S. It reached platinum status in the United Kingdom. Produced by Lenny Kaye and Steve Adalbo, the songs feature Vega's acoustic guitar and straightforward arrangements. A video was released for the album's song Marlene on the Wall, which went into MTV and VH1's rotations. During this period Vega also wrote lyrics for 2 songs on Songs from Liquid Days by composer Philip Glass. Vega's song Left of Center, co-written with Steve Adalbo for the 1986 John Hughes film Pretty in Pink, reached number 32 on the British Singles Chart in 1986. Her next effort, Solitude Standing, garnered critical and commercial success, selling over 1 million copies in the US. It includes the international hit single Luka, which is written about, and from the point of view of, an abused child at the time an uncommon subject for a pop hit. While continuing a focus on Vega's acoustic guitar, the music is more strongly pop-oriented and features fuller arrangements. The a cappella Tom's Diner from this album was later a hit, remixed by 2 British dance producers under the name DNA, in 1990. The track was originally a bootleg, until Vega allowed DNA to release through her record company, and it became her all-time biggest hit. 1990s, Vega's third album, Days of Open Hand, continued in the style of her first 2 albums. In 1992 she released the album 99.94 Degree. It consists of a mixture of folk music, dance beats and industrial music. This record was awarded gold status by the RIAA in recognition of selling over 500,000 copies in the US. Her 5th album, 9 Objects of Desire, was released in 1996. The music varies between a frugal, simple style and the industrial production of 99.94 Degree. This album contains Caramel, featured in the movie The Truth About Cats and Dogs and, later, the trailer for the movie Closer. A song not included on that album, Woman in the Tear, was featured on the soundtrack of the movie Dead Man Walking. In 1997 she took a singing part on the concept album Heaven and Hell, a musical interpretation of the 7 Deadly Sins by her colleague Joe Jackson, with whom she had already collaborated in 1986 on Left of Center from the Pretty in Pink soundtrack. In 1999, Avon Books published Vega's book The Passionate Eye, the collected writings of Suzanne Vega. A volume of poems, lyrics, essays and journalistic pieces. 2000s. September 2001 saw the release of a new album, Songs in Red and Grey. 3 songs deal with Vega's divorce from first husband Mitchell Froom. At the memorial concert for her brother Tim Vega in December 2002, she began as the long-term subject of a direct cinema documentary, Some Journey, by director Christopher Seufert of Mooncusser Films. This has not been completed. In 2003, the 21-song Greatest Hits compilation retrospective, The Best of Suzanne Vega, was released. In the same year she was invited by Grammy Award-winning jazz guitarist Bill Frisell to play at the Century of Song concerts at the famed Rotrienal in Germany. In 2003, she hosted the American public media radio series American Mavericks, about 20th-century American composers, which received the prestigious Peabody Award for Excellence in Broadcasting. On August 3, 2006, Vega became the first major recording artist to perform live in the internet-based virtual world, Second Life. The event was hosted by John Hockenberry of Public Radio's The Infinite Mind. On September 17, 2006, she performed in Central Park, as part of a benefit concert for the Save Darfur Coalition. During the concert she highlighted her support for Amnesty International, of which she had been a member since 1988. In early October 2006, Vega took part in the Academia Film Olomouc in Olomouc, the Czech Republic, the oldest festival of documentary films in Europe, in which she appeared as a main guest. She was invited there as the subject of the documentary film by director Christopher Seufert, that had a test screening at the festival. At the end of the festival she performed her classical songs, and added one brand new piece called New York as a Woman. Vega is also interviewed in the book Everything Is Just a Bet, which was published in Czech in October 2006. The book contains 12 interview transcriptions from the talk show called Stage Talks that regularly runs in the Angstrom Vandovo Divadlo in Prague. Vega introduced the book to the audience of the Angstrom Vandovo Divadlo, and together with some other Czech celebrities gave a signing session. She signed a new recording contract with Blue Note Records in the spring of 2006, and released Beauty and Crime on July 17, 2007. The album was produced by Jimmy Hogarth, which won a Grammy for Best Engineered Album, Non-Classical. Her contract was not renewed and she was dropped in June 2008. In 2007, Vega followed the lead of numerous other mainstream artists and released her track Pornographer's Dream as Podsafe. The song spent 2 weeks at number 1 during 2007 and finished as the number 11 hit of the year on the PMC Top 10's annual countdown. Vega joined the 10th Annual Independent Music Awards judging panel to assist independent musicians' careers. She was also a judge for the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th Independent Music Awards. 2010's, a partial cover version of her song Tom's Diner was used to introduce the 2010 British movie 4.3.2.1, with its lyrics largely rewritten to echo the plot. This musical hybrid was released as Keep Moving. Vega participated in the Danger Mouse-David Lynch collaboration Dark Night of the Soul. She wrote both melody and lyrics for her song, which is titled The Man Who Played God, inspired by a biography of Pablo Picasso. Vega sang lead vocals on the song Now I Am an Arsonist with singer-songwriter Jonathan Coulton on his 2011 album, Artificial Heart. On July 28, 2012, Vega and the Soul Rebels brass band shared the stage and performed Tom's Diner together at the inaugural 2012 Boston Summer Arts Weekend in Copley Square. Vega has re-recorded her back catalog, both for artistic and commercial reasons, in the Close-Up series. Volume 1 and Volume 2 appeared in 2010 while Volume 3 was released in July 2011 followed by Volume 4 in September 2012. Volumes 2, 3 and 4 of the Close-Up albums included previously unrecorded material. Volumes 2 and 3 each included one new collaboratively written song, while Volume 4 included 3 songs that Vega had written years earlier, but had not previously gotten around to recording. In all, Vega's Close-Up series features 60 re-recorded songs and 5 new compositions, representing about 3/4 of her lifetime songwriting output. While performing live, Vega and long-term collaborator Jerry Leonard began to introduce a number of new songs into the setlist, including the live favorite I Never Wear White. Over the course of a year, the songs were completed and recorded in a live studio setting with the help of a number of guests. Produced by Leonard, Tales from the Realm of the Queen of Pentacles, was released in February 2014. It was her first album of new material in 7 years and became Vega's first studio album to reach the UK Top 40 since 1992, peaking at number 37. Tom's Diner. Vega's song Tom's Diner was used as the reference track in an early trial of the MP3 compression system, thus earning her the distinction of being named the mother of the MP3. Because it is an a cappella vocal with relatively little reverberation, it was used as the model for Karl-Heinz Brandenburg's sound compression algorithm. Brandenburg heard Tom's Diner on a radio playing the song and was excited and at first convinced it would be nearly impossible to compress this warm a cappella voice. Tom's Diner takes place in Tom's Restaurant at 112th Street and Broadway in New York City. Exterior shots of the same restaurant appear in the television sitcom Seinfeld as monks, which is the eatery where Jerry, George, Elaine, and Kramer hang out. The DNA remix of the track was so popular that it inspired many cover versions, the best of which were eventually collected by Vega on an album titled Tom's Album. The remixed version of Tom's Diner was later sampled by hip-hop artist Nikki D in her single Daddy's Little Girl. Rapper Tupac Shakur sampled the track in Dr. Fiend's Diner. On July 28, 2012, Vega and the Soul Rebels brass band shared the stage and performed Tom's Diner together at the inaugural 2012 Boston Summer Arts Weekend in Copley Square. Luka, on a 1987 Swedish television special, Vega said this about her song Luka. "A few years ago, I used to see this group of children playing in front of my building, and there was one of them, whose name was Luka, who seemed a little bit distinctive from the other children. I always remembered his name, and I always remembered his face, and I didn't know much about him, but he just seemed set apart from these other children that I would see playing. And his character is what I based the song Luka on." In the song, the boy Luka is an abused child. In real life I don't think he was. I think he was just different. Also, in an ASCAP interview, she responded to a question about Luka. Interviewer: "When you can touch so many people with songs like Luka, it must be pretty rewarding." Vega: "Yeah. Unregistered trademark S an amazing feeling. Especially since that particular song is a very special song. Unregistered trademark S a song about child abuse, so therefore it does touch a lot of people in a different way than if it were, say, a love song or some other kind of song." Luka was covered by the Lemonheads on the 1989 album Lick, shortly before the band was signed by Atlantic Records, and was a minor college airplay hit. Theatre: Vega and Duncan Sheik wrote a play Carson McCullers Talks About Love, about the life of the writer Carson McCullers. In the play, which premiered in 2011, Vega alternates between monologue and songs. Vega and Sheik were nominated for Outstanding Music in a Play for the 57th Annual Drama Desk Awards. Personal life: on March 17, 1995, Vega married Mitchell Froom, a musician and a record producer. They have a daughter, Ruby Froom. The band Soul Coughing's Ruby Vroom album was named after her, with Vega's approval. Recently Ruby sang with her mother on a couple of occasions. Vega and Froom separated in 1998. On February 11, 2006, Vega married Paul Mills, a lawyer. Vega practices Nichiren Buddhism and is a member of the U.S. branch of the Worldwide Buddhist Association Soka Gakkai International. Discography: Studio albums: Suzanne Vega, Solitude Standing, Days of Open Hand, 99.94 Degree, 9 Objects of Desire, Songs in Red and Grey, Beauty and Crime, Tales from the Realm of the Queen of Pentacles. References. External links: official website, audio interview with Suzanne Vega on the Sodijika on Songwriting podcast, Suzanne Vega on A&M Records, Suzanne Vega at the Internet Movie Database, works by or about Suzanne Vega in libraries, Suzanne Vega collected news and commentary at the New York Times, Suzanne Vega documentary clips, Love Songs Radio Love Songs review by Slug Magazine, Suzanne Vega recording of Streets of Laredo for Pioneers for a Cure.